Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gypsy Poet Radio here on blogtalkradio.com/GypsyPoet. I am the Gypsy Poet, and, of course, with me is the lovely, wonderful, mysterious, and sparkling and talented Girl George. Speaking of Girl George, I hear we have a birthday coming up in a week or two, is it?
Yeah, the 29th. I'm going to be 69 years old. How about that? The magic number.
Yes, tell me about it. And of course, I just had to say that. I just had to put it on the show that her birthday is coming up, and boy, what a bash that's going to be! I can just imagine what she's going to come up with. Anyways, of course, with us on the show this afternoon, we've got the talented and mesmerizing Jesse Strickman.
Jesse, I've known you since you were about 17, weren't you?
Yeah, something like that, maybe even 16.
Yeah, he came in the Story Plow when I used to be the co-host of the open mic there, and he had blue hair. And he went up and he really was good. I used to tell Joan, my partner, I said, hey, listen to this kid with the blue hair. He's really, really good. And then I booked him as a feature act there and at See Me and at the Long Haul. And he's got a great bunch of kids they're like the old hippies of the old day. You know, they're really sweet.
Awesome.
They're all very talented.
Awesome. Oh,
Thank you.
Let's talk about where you're actually from. I want to know where you're from or where you traveled.
I'm from Oakland, California. Born and raised. But we try to travel once a year, playing my band and I playing like up the West Coast, like Oregon and Washington, and sometimes we'll veer out to like Nevada and stuff like that, or go down to LA.
Awesome.
About once a year, yeah. But we play here the most in the Bay Area, San Francisco and Oakland and Berkeley.
How'd you name your band Dear Indugu? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Dear Indugu. Yeah, it's a reference from a movie called About Schmidt with Jack Nicholson. Have you guys seen it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
Cool. So Jack Nicholson basically plays this old man character who's like very hardened and kind of stubborn and doesn't really express emotions very much. Kind of like one of those kind of characters, and he ends up sponsoring a kid in Africa. One of those like sponsorship things where he sends money to a kid in a third world country, and the kid's name is Indugu, and the agency, the organization encourages him to write letters to his sponsor child, and he does, and by the end of the movie, like, it kind of becomes like a emotional outlet for him, and kind of like a way that he can express his feelings and stuff like that. And I kind of thought it was a cool metaphor for what I do through music, just like how it's an emotional outlet, and like I can express myself through music, and every letter that he writes starts off Dear Indugu. And so I thought that would, and then that's kind of like how his letters start, and so I thought that was a cool way to have, like, that's how my music starts. That's like the name of the project. And I thought it sounded cool, and I thought it was a cool metaphor.
I like it personally. That's a really beautiful way to put it. It's just another way to channel it. That's what I see there. That's awesome. I like that. Oh,
thank you.
Tell me a little bit about your musical influences, please.
So I grew up listening to a lot of punk music, like Rancid and Operation Ivy and stuff. Like in grade school and high school. And I'd been in various punk bands and stuff, but I started listening to acoustic music, like Bright Eyes and Dashboard and Confessionals, like older stuff. And I started getting really into acoustic stuff, and I think I was in like a few different punk bands at the time when I started doing Indugu. And I kind of just like always, even though I was like very much playing punk music and having distorted guitars and stuff like that, I was in my headphones were these acoustic bands, and so I kind of just like in my private time, I was like writing all these acoustic songs and just showing my friends and not really playing them on stages or anything or like calling any attention towards them. But my friends told me that like those were some of my best songs, are these acoustic songs, and they said I should like really be playing those songs. So that's why I started here in Indugu, to kind of have like acoustic stuff out there. But yeah, my influences would be like punk music and then like acoustic and like folk music.
So you played at the Gilman with some punk band playing drums?
Yeah. I'm right now I'm the drummer of a ska punk band called Imposters that plays at the Gilman all the time. Yeah.
Oh, I love the Gilman. That's a great club. I played there.
Yeah, it's great.
And that's where all the punks hang out.
Yeah. All the cool kids.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great place.
Yeah. What other I was going to ask, what other instruments do you play? What instruments do you play, and do they branch off of anything else?
I play acoustic guitar, and I sing, and I play harmonica, so that can get pretty folky. And I also play drums, and all the bands that I've been a drummer for have been like thrash punk or now ska punk bands. So I guess I do like punk drumming and then like folk singing.
That's really.
What does your parents do?
My parents?
Your parents, what do? They work, or are they artists, or what?
Yeah, well, they work. My dad is a computer programmer, and my mom is a lawyer for and she represents women that have been put in prison for murdering their abusive husbands and partners. So she tries to get their sentences lessened. She also was do you remember the Tree Sit in Berkeley? She was the lawyer for them. She was like the main one who kind of.
Oh, the tree sitters?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
She's kind of known in the like radical community.
Yeah, they sat up in those trees for about a year, didn't they, to keep them from cutting them down? But I think they ended up cutting them down, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, so my mom did everything she could, and she would help the tree sitters when they would get put in jail and stuff. She would get them out or like find them representation and stuff like that.
My kind of gal.
Yeah, that actually reminds me. One day I went to the tree sit to play for them, and I was playing over like the intercom, and I remember I mentioned like that I was like, you probably know my mom. I'm Carol Strickman's son, and then I could just hear like all this like howling coming from up in the trees, like woohoo, like yeah. It was pretty cool.
My mom, the hero, huh?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Cool.
Oh, you were at Burning Man. What's it like at Burning Man? I've never been there.
You've never been? Oh
no,
my God,
it's too hot. I can't stand heat or dirt or sand or any of that shit.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, the conditions are kind of harsh. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. It's incredible. It's like hard to even grasp like everything that it is without going, because I think there's so much art and like mind-blowing stimulation on the outside, but the most amazing thing that happens there is kind of this inside transformation. I find like this like lifting of our hearts, like everyone together, kind of out there in the desert. For the most part, I mean, there's douchebags out there too, just because there's bound to be with 70,000 people, but for the most part, there's this insane sense of community and humanity that I feel like our society, our everyday society, kind of, in the way that it separates us. When you go to Burning Man, you kind of lift those walls and you feel a lot closer, and you kind of get back to something that's like in our roots. I feel
it's like going to Woodstock, right?
What's that?
It's like going to Woodstock. You'll never be the same again, right?
Yeah, I mean, I never went to Woodstock, but I can imagine. Yeah, I recommend it to everyone.
So how many times you been there?
Just twice.
Just twice, okay. I used to have a room. I used to live in a warehouse in Oakland, and the guy that lived there too he used to go up there every year. And he says you have to bring your own toiletry. They have no toilets up there. You can't buy anything up there. So you have to bring everything you need and take anything away that, garbage or whatever has to go back with you.
At Burning Man?
Yeah, Burning Man.
Well, they provide like porta potties and stuff like that.
Oh, they've changed. Well, this was a few years back. This was probably 10 years ago. They had no toilet. You had to bring your own bucket or something.
Oh man,
it was really rough in those days. But they were all on ecstasy, so I don't think they really cared.
That makes sense. Yeah,
let's take you. I was going to ask you. Let's take you back to the music a little bit. Is there someone or something? Let's say, like you want to write something, or you want to collaborate with somebody. Who would be your dream collaborator?
Oh wow! Like anyone in the world?
Anyone in the world. Anyone in the world.
Yes.
Living or dead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, that's a huge question.
Well, you made it huger.
Yeah, I guess I did. I would say, well, I can narrow it down to one, but like it might be cool to collaborate with Ben Gibbard from the Postal Service and Death Cab for Cutie, because I've heard him do a couple different collaborations and they've always come out really cool. So I feel like he's a good collaborator and a really brilliant songwriter. I'm really into, right now, Father John Misty, which is this folk singer. He was the drummer of Fleet Foxes, and I think about like a year ago he had split off and started his own project, and it's just like so amazing sounding. Has like really beautiful harmonies and stuff like that, and that would be fun to collaborate with him. If I, but yeah. So
that's awesome.
Do you have any gigs coming up? Do you have any gigs coming up?
We're headlining Awaken Cafe in downtown Oakland on December 14th, but that's all we got booked at the moment. We just got back from a tour about a month ago, and are kind of taking it easy. We're thinking about recording and stuff.
Where did you go to?
We went, we had shows in Oregon and Washington, in California.
Anything funny happen on the way?
My car broke down on the way back, and it was as we were outside of our friend's house in Portland because we'd forgot something there on the way up. So we were stopping back in Portland on our way down, and the car broke down right in front of his house. So it was kind of meant to be, we thought, because the place that we were on our way to play a show was in Corvallis, Oregon that night, and we got a phone call saying that the show was canceled, and we got a phone call saying that the people that were going to house us were out of town, so we had no housing, no show, and then our car broke down, and so it was kind of perfect that we ended up stuck at our friend's house where we had housing in an awesome city like Portland, so it was kind of meant to be.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to ask, is there a particular place that of all the venues that you played that you like playing the most, or are all of them like your favorite?
Bottom of the Hill in San Francisco is my favorite venue that we've been so blessed to be able to play at. It's like all the greats have come through there, or like a big majority of the bands that are huge now at one time played there, because it's in San Francisco and it's kind of in between. It's like a big, smaller venue or like a small, bigger venue. It's kind of like a medium to middle ground venue to where I think it's like some 400 people or something, maybe a little less than that, but it has a really professional and like rock venue vibe. Like it has a really good vibe, and just the whole layout inside is. Have you guys ever been there? It's the Bottom of the Hill?
Many times I've been there. I've seen the Moore Brothers there. That's a great club. I love that club.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Fillmore?
No.
Oh,
No,
too
we haven't
bad. What
played
about
anything
Great American Music Hall?
epic.
That's a good place.
Yeah, those are big places. I mean, the biggest thing, we've been playing at Bottom of the Hill for a few years now, or a couple of years, and that's like the biggest thing that we've played so far. That's kind of like where we're at right now.
Ain't there a club called Nouveau, something like that, Nouveau? Club Nouveau?
Café du Nord?
Yeah, that's the one. Have you played there?
No, I'd like to play there, though.
Oh, my daughter met the owner of the place, and he said that I was there when they opened, but I've never played the place. I guess he'd probably see me at the Story Plow and 6. He'd see me at his own club.
Probably.
I've been there because I went there to see Mike Wilhelm and the Charlatans, not the Charlatans, but the Flaming Groovy. Ciro was playing there, and the Chocolate Watch Band, they had gotten together and were playing there. That's the only time I've ever been there.
Cool.
Oh, we're going to have the drummer from the Flaming Groovies on in a couple weeks.
Oh, awesome! I can't wait. I'm anticipating that one.
We've already interviewed Ciro from there, and the drummer just said he would do it too. So that's real cool.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Tell me something. You have something on your page on Facebook. I just couldn't get my mind off of it. It says, "Nothing beats a spiritual journey in the desert." Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, that was a Burning Man reference. That was, I think that was either right before I left for Burning Man or right when I got back. And like I was saying before, Burning Man is just like a really spiritual experience for me, and I think for a lot of people, if you like read up before you go and read up on like the mission statement of Burning Man and what the purpose of it is, because I mean really anyone can go now. You just buy tickets, so any sort of person can go. Like it doesn't have to be someone searching like on a spiritual journey, but the founders of it, like what they were going for, everything is so awesome that if you like read up on it and go there with that in mind, it's really cool. I got a lot out of it. I think I've seen like the best version of myself there. Just because in the same way that it's like easy to be kind of like closed-hearted in everyday society, there it's kind of easy to be like open-hearted and like caring and like considerate, and it's just like and such on 70,000 people on like such a grand scheme, just seeing the society that's like more compassionate and like living inside of it for an entire week is really mind-blowing. It blew my mind. So that's what I meant by that spiritual journey in the desert. I'm writing a song about it.
Beautiful. I noticed that nature inspires you. Can you elaborate on that a little?
I've always kind of been obsessed with this duality of nature versus like city life and pollution versus clear water and just like so I've always kind of played around with that in imagery in my songs, and if you look at our album cover, it's kind of like a yin-yang. If you look at the front cover of our album, it's like there's a little bit of like building and road with a bunch of nature, and then if you flip it around and look at the back, there's a bunch of city and a little bit of nature in the corner, and it's kind of like a yin-yang from front cover and back cover, and I just we went with that because we were trying to think of what the artwork should be, and we were looking at all the songs and realized that there was a lot of kind of this nature versus city. And I don't know why. I think I like that concept because we are animals, human beings, and we do come from nature, but now we're so far detached from it that we like live in boxes, and we prefer to have like to essentially be like living inside. Even when we're outside, we have like the ground paved over, so we're like walking on a floor. And I just always I always thought about that growing up and thought like that's kind of weird. And that feeling, my parents would always take us camping, and that feeling when you go into nature and you breathe in the air and you just like kind of feel like you're back home, even though you don't live in the woods. it kind of, there's this innate feeling of like you're at peace and you're where you're supposed to be. So I always thought that was kind of interesting, something I think about a lot.
That's awesome. You got a great balance in your life here, because I've noticed that you've got this punk influence and you have this other side that's really peaceful. I really like that. And you also have another project here called Imposters, and there's a song on your page that says "Punk Ain't Pretty." You want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, that was a video that someone did of my ska punk band Imposters. I think it was for school. They made this. They interviewed us and filmed us playing and took a recording and made this maybe 5-minute video called "Punk Ain't Pretty." And that video was about the role of women in music and the fact that we have a female lead singer. And so we talked a lot about that and how it's cool and how there should be more. We kind of explored why, the reasons why we think that there aren't more women in music. And yeah, it was really interesting. My take on it is that just through time, women are becoming more empowered, and I think that we will see more and more women in music, and it's really cool to have a girl lead singer, kind of showing people at the Gilman, showing these young punk rockers and stuff that that girls can rock out just as hard as guys. It's cool.
Isn't that the truth? Girl George, Exhibit A.
Well, girls always did break through on the punk more than in any other gender of music. There was a lot of girls in the punk movement.
Awesome. Yes, much so.
Yeah,
yes.
Punk has always been questioning the status quo and questioning.
Yeah, Joan Jett and Chrissy Hine, boy, they came through really strong.
Yes, and Patti Smith.
Right.
And
hell, even Madonna came out of the punk movement. She went pop real fast, but she came out punk.
Yeah. That's awesome. I guess that's
Borderline. Have you ever seen that video of Borderline? She's as punk as you can get.
Oh.
No.
It's funny, I remember that too. Wow. How amazing is that? We'll talk about a flashback.
So how old are you now, Jesse?
I'm 27.
So it's been 10 years I've known you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see you're still doing music and still creating new stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, you super you guys super helped me. That was one of the first stages that I was playing on, was your guys' open mic, and you guys were so encouraging, and yeah, you guys were really supportive. That was really awesome. Thank you.
You still play the Story Plow once in a while?
Yeah, on the tour that we just played, our return home show was at the Story Plow.
Well, cool. That's a great place, Story Plow. You should come down to Missouri again. My birthday party's on the 30th of October at the Missouri Lounge on Wednesday, open mic. Come on down and play on my birthday.
Okay, I'll be there. Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about another video you have on here called Key Noise. It says here, check out my lady's moody art. I want to know a little bit about this. I'm curious.
That's one of my best friends and my most recent partner. She's she's an artist, and she's in film school, and she makes short films and stuff. So yeah, I was posting about one of her short films, and she can get pretty moody and I mean, her art can be kind of dark and cool, and that's some of the art that I really like is like that. So yeah, I was sharing some of her pieces.
That's really cool. I just love some of the tidbits that you have on your page, and you've also been reviewed by Relate Mag. So I wanted to ask, how did you feel when you got that music review?
That was cool. Yeah, that was a review because it was Relate Mag is a teenage girl magazine, and I guess she in the review. Did you read the review? She in the review she basically says like she almost didn't review us because our music can be very depressing, and her goal as a writer of Relate Mag is to empower her young female readers, and so she almost didn't want to throw something at her readers like our music, because I can sometimes sing about depressing concepts and stuff like that. Not that I'm a depressed person, but just like I guess one way that I deal with like the dark side of society and humanity is to write about it in art. So as a result, a lot of my art can be kind of dark, at least lyrically. And so she I guess she always starts off reviewing a new album by reading the lyrics first without listening to it, and she found that the lyrics were super to get really depressing, but that she ended up deciding to publish a review on us because I guess she said something like Geo Indugu's music like brings you down to the depths of despair, but then gives you like a twinkle of hope or something like that.
I would love that. Yes.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool, and it was interesting to see that she almost didn't review us, but then she decided to. That was for our most recent release, which is actually our first official release, because we toured with demo recordings for the longest time, but we about a year ago we released a studio EP, and so we were getting reviews for that when we got that one. We got a really good one by Nanobot Rock Reviews. It was probably the best review we've ever gotten. So I would check that one out too. That was a good one.
Awesome. I'm just loving the stories you're bringing. They're very empowering and they're very beautiful. Among other things, let's talk a little bit more about Dear Indugu. I really love the title. I just love the idea of this channeling thing that you're doing. Do you have any other upcoming performances with the band?
No, right now the only one we have is headlining Awaken Cafe on December 14th, and I'm not sure that we will have any shows until then because we're working on outlining our next album and getting started on that. So we're going to be holding off on shows a little bit.
Okay, that's good. That's
be a really
what I
good one.
That's what I actually wanted to get to. Is like I want to know what else are you working on besides shows? So you're actually working on outlining an album. So that's a really awesome thing to know. Okay, Girl George, are you with me over there?
I'm right here.
Oh, wonderful.
So it was good talking to you, Jesse. And where can we find you on the web?
Yes.
DearIndugu.com, and the spelling of that is dear, like the beginning of a letter, DEAR, and then INDUGU, DearIndugu.com. And you can just Google us. You can find us on our Facebook page and Twitter and YouTube. You can see music videos on YouTube. And like us online and stuff. So thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, not a problem. We loved having you. You are great, absolutely awesome, and I can't wait to see what else you're going to do next. Number one, number two. I hope you call back and you do another episode of GPR with Girl George and myself. So, okay, Girl George.
Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome, and thank you. All right, everyone, please check out DearIndugu.com. Look at the website, look at their schedule, look at everything that's possible on their website just for the fun and for everything that they're posting on there. And, of course, Girl George, thank you for an awesome Sunday afternoon. What a great afternoon it was here on GPR. Thank you so much. So I am the Gypsy Poet, signing off saying adieu for now.
Ciao.
Once I as a kid next to a bridge, me and some friends were throwing rocks, aiming at cars and laughing hard until we saw one slow and stop. He opened his door, spoke through the roar of the passing cars he stood up for. He said, it's all fun and games, no real ashamed if someone swerves and hits the curb, and you are left with more on your conscience than you bargained for. That was then. We never threw at cars again, just turned and hung our heads. We knew damn well before he said that there were such high stakes. Some honesty is all it takes, and the mob breaks. Once as a kid I went to live out on an island for a week. Cannot forget a girl I met and the sensation when she'd speak. Laying weed, play and read what came to be my favorite book. And while she read, the words she said washed over me so blissfully, and how I held my breath when she held my arm so gently. That was then. I never saw the girl again, a hint from yesterday. Don't let a good thing slip away, I'll learn from my mistakes. A broken heart is all it takes. Learning's easy when your chest aches.